Let's really get serious about the power of this sector and not treat it as charity anymore, but a very intricate part of a very long-range plan for America's future.
Something great, Obama. Oh, wait. Be a part of something great, Obama. Oh, wait.
And so they formed this little organization. They didn't have a lot of money. All they could afford to hire was me. And it was just great work because it taught me that ordinary people can do extraordinary things when they're given an opportunity.
And weighing the pro and cons.
How do you feel today?
As this gentleman up here said, I'm so...
They can't be outsourced.
Well, first we knew that we needed to understand what we could do, what the law allowed us to do, what was legal. So we got some legal advice. We contracted with a local advocate and legal advisor, Ann McLean Custer, and she researched the law. She worked with the National Council of Nonprofit Associations to come up with guidelines.
But what nonprofits can't do is endorse a particular candidate. But the fact that you leave your political endorsement at the door doesn't mean that you leave your free speech at the door. So
then we knew that we needed to reach out to each candidate and in a very uniformed way invite each one. So a letter went out, exact letter, to all candidates, and there were probably 18 candidates at the time. Then we brought together the nonprofit leaders in our state for 3 meetings, and we held trainings where Attorney Custer would describe the law, go over what was possible. We also talked to them about the art of bird dogging, how to show up early, get positioned, raise your hand, and then we crafted the questions. So the training occurred, the law was understood, we crafted the questions, we invited the candidates, and then we waited to see what would happen.
As I became governor, because of my background, I had I think a pretty clear understanding that there's no way that we could have ever afforded the value of the nonprofits to our communities and to our state.
Only one candidate, Governor Huckabee, took us up on our invitation, and we held a 60-minute session with him down in Dover, New Hampshire. About 100 people showed up, and we were able to ask the question and dialogue with him about his life in the nonprofit sector, what he felt he could do, and that was a very good meeting. After that, we found that the candidates were so busy and had such constantly changing schedules that we needed to go to them.
Paying different prices, buying insurance from all over the country, so we have a gigantic...
I went to every event I could go to. If my schedule allowed it and I had an invitation, I would go. And I let a lot of people know I was doing this and why I was doing it. So a lot of my friends or colleagues who would get an invitation to a house party would call me and say, I'm going to go see Ann Romney, do you want to come?
The most important thing is not to be a wallflower. The most important thing is get there early, go to the front of the room, even if there's nobody else in the front of the room, sit right in front of the podium, make eye contact with the candidates, and make sure that as you see them getting to their closing remarks and you know they're going to go into a Q&A session, get your hand up, even while the rest of the people are still clapping.
And my hand went right up. And I thought, this is so great, I'm going to get called. And she said, you, young lady right there. And I couldn't tell if she was looking right at me or the person right after me. And in my second of hesitation, like, young lady, did she mean me? Am I young enough? Did she mean me? The woman behind me stood up. And so I thought, oh, I can't believe this. I've lost my chance.
A lot of the candidates will stay after and chat with you too. So, you know, that's a great opportunity to really, you know, shake hands, look them in the eye, and have a conversation.
So after, when I got my picture taken with him, I said to him, you know, I appreciated your answer, but I think that there's a lot of very positive nonprofit work that's done that's not about disaster, or it's not about tragedy or immediate, you know, events, but it's about systematic building of communities and educational things and arts things and environmental saving and things like that. And he said, you know, you're right, it is.
I think one of the biggest surprises was their limited understanding of the not-for-profit community. You know, very quickly somebody would think about the Alzheimer's memory walk that somebody had participated in their family, or a breast cancer run, or that sort of thing.
And so although the nonprofits have not directly affected me, they certainly have a lot of people that I know.
We did everything we could to try to have as many nonprofits in the city as possible.
Anybody that goes to work every day doing what you do deserves a special place in heaven.
You know, the primary project is not just about the candidate, it's about the public. So the question isn't just to the candidate about how do you feel about the nonprofit sector and how would you strengthen it. It's saying to the public, look, this is a question that's important because it's about our communities.
The nonprofit sector is a part of their everyday life. They walk into museums and they go to YWCAs and they visit their local library. With just a little education on our part, the whole public can begin to really understand this is part of everyone's life and it's something we need to support.
And it's easy, particularly in the nonprofit sector, to sort of get into woe is me. People don't give me enough money. The grants are harder to write. They don't know what I'm doing. But we need to educate them. They don't know what we're doing. And I think I don't consider them to be evil or trying to put it to us. I think we need to let them know what the work is, how the services are delivered, and how broad the sector is.
The political process is going to affect the future of our organizations. So I think it's very, very important for us to step up and take hold of our destiny.
It's about what to do to increase the impact and extent of work from the nonprofit sector in America, because, you know, the nonprofit sector, which includes so many of the advocacy groups, service organizations, faith-based, the whole nonprofit sector in America not only delivers essential services, but is a huge employer.